O TikTok vai ser banido dos Estados Unidos a partir de domingo e os jovens americanos, a geração Z, não tá nem um pouco feliz e está boicotando o governo americano de uma maneira inusitada, que está colocando cidadãos chineses e americanos para conversar. E os americanos estão chocados com a realidade da China. Vem ver comigo essa história. Meu nome é Carol Zoccoli Brócoli, bem-vindos a esse canal. Eu sou comediante, também sou formada em filosofia, então nesse canal aqui eu gosto de pensar um pouco e rir também, né? Porque país da liberdade de expressão estão banindo o TikTok, né? Então, quer dizer, meus 300 mil seguidores lá, tchau, pessoal. Aproveita e dá um like aqui e se inscreve, tá, gente? Bom, o que aconteceu? O governo americano tá banindo o TikTok. Quando começou a guerra de Israel com a Palestina, os Estados Unidos, como também na guerra da Ucrânia, os Estados Unidos têm acho, não sei se é o FBI, o exército, não sei, eles têm um poder de propaganda muito grande, assim. Quando tem guerra, você vê esse poder, assim, do Estado americano, sabe? Então, eles estavam, né, os Estados Unidos é aliado de Israel, então eles não queriam ver histórias do lado palestino. Então, aqui nos Estados Unidos não se via, assim, né, jornalista que falou a favor da Palestina foi demitido, foi assim, um negócio assim, eles vão passando rolo mesmo, compressor, entendeu? Mas no TikTok, a galera começou a ver os vídeos em tempo real da guerra, o pessoal lá em guerra, os palestinos lá, e aí os americanos, os jovens, a geração Z, começou a ver essas imagens e tal, e houve muito protesto pró-Palestina aqui nos Estados Unidos. Aí, o governo americano decidiu banir o TikTok porque no TikTok eles não têm controle. Porque o Zuckerberg, o Meta, todos esses aí, eles alinham com o governo americano, com o FBI. Mas o TikTok não alinha. Quer dizer, o CEO do TikTok vai, né, na posse do Trump, né? Vamos ver também. E aí, e por que a gente sabe que esse é o motivo? Porque um deputado, o senador, acho que foi um deputado, falou. Simplesmente ele falou assim, ó, esse aplicativo, no meio de um papo assim, ele falando mal do TikTok, esse aplicativo tá atrapalhando a gente ter a opinião que a gente quer sobre a guerra. Então todo mundo sabe que essa é a real. Só que o governo americano tá dizendo que vai banir o TikTok, porque o TikTok é chinês. Então, o chinês, como vive num comunismo, se o governo mandar, a empresa tem que dar os dados, e daí ele fala, então o governo chinês vai ter acesso aos dados dos americanos, então isso daqui, por segurança nacional, a gente vai banir esse aplicativo. Aí o partido chinês o comunismo chinês falou assim, gente, mas eu já tinha comprado os dados americanos do Zuckerberg faz tempo, ó. Da Meta, inclusive, ele continua me passando, não tô entendendo essa. Então, o americano sabe, o jovem americano sabe disso. Esse mês, porque assim, esse banimento, ele já tinha um tempo assim que ele tá ameaçando, sabe? Mas agora que é pra valer. Então, nesse mês começou, tem uma semana já que os americanos acharam um aplicativo chinês, que ele é bem parecido com o TikTok, que chama Red Note. Vou mostrar um pouco a imagem aqui que eu entrei. A galera começou a baixar esse aplicativo. Esse aplicativo é todo em chinês, ele é da China, ninguém usa que não for chinês. E aí a galera começou a baixar mesmo, ó, vem tudo em chinês, você tem que ir aceitando, você não sabe nem o que você tá aceitando. Agora acho que eu devo ser comunista, então. Aceitei ali no Partido Comunista, entrei pro Partido Comunista. E aí eles começaram a fazer o download desse aplicativo. Esse aplicativo tá em primeiro lugar na Apple Store, na Apple Store, né, de aplicativo. Em primeiro lugar, já tem uma semana e tal. E os jovens estão lá porque lá só tem chinês. E aí eles começaram a dizer que são refugiados do TikTok. Começaram a conversar com chineses ali naquele aplicativo. Os chineses começaram a mostrar a vida, como é que era, ia no mercado. Eles começaram, tipo, a fazer amizade. E os chineses perguntavam dos americanos o que era viver lá. Gente, o negócio... Assim, incrível. Então, vamos ver aqui. Eu quero mostrar pra vocês alguns depoimentos, alguns desses vídeos aí da galera, dos americanos que descobrindo a China. Olha que loucura. Vamos ver aqui, ó.
Hilarious about the US government forcing Americans to realize that they live in the bad place and that China pities them. People on Red Note being like, oh, you guys can't afford groceries? That's insane. Oh my god, your MRI was $1,200? It shouldn't be that way, you guys. You guys are humans. You deserve rights. And Americans being like, they got a point. What the fuck? Like, it's actually insane. that the American government pushed Americans into the hands of seeing that, oh my goodness, these people are nice and welcoming, more welcoming than the US government. What a backfire. Like, it's actually, you couldn't write this. You couldn't make this shit up. The most hilarious way to push Americans into the hands of, like, the great superpower that you're so afraid of is for them to just look at the people being nice to them and being like, oh, you guys deserve health care. You're humans. You should be able to afford groceries. Look at this grocery haul. We can actually afford food. This is what it's like to afford food. This is what it's like to afford your life. I feel bad for you guys over there. Like, it's actually insane. Pity, the main emotion to the people who've already been on Red Note being like, hi, TikTok refugees, I'm so sorry you live there.
This is a historic moment that does not happen often. The citizens of two rivaling countries are coming together in solidarity and sharing culture with each other. This is a beautiful moment in human history. And unlike all of the historical events we as millennials and Gen Z have lived through, this one is actually a good one.
A tradução aqui é: alguém nos comentários do Red Note me perguntou se é verdade que a gente tem que pagar por ambulância nos Estados Unidos ou se isso era propaganda do governo comunista deles.
Listen, I didn't think that the culture shock of joining Red Note would be watching grocery hauls. Chinese grocery hauls are insane because they can actually afford food. You guys. What one woman, it would have cost me, oh my God. This is so sad. America is, I already knew, but it's like so sad. We're such a sad excuse for our country.
The American people are now trolling the American federal government, and you're never going to believe how. Okay, you've probably already heard. So everybody's moved over to a different app, with the impending ban of TikTok over security concerns, even though they said the quiet part out loud when it came to an interview in which they directly stated that this was to limit Palestinian content. Everybody's moving over to a new app. Chinese TikTok. Yep, welcome to Redbook. Over 100 million Americans today alone have downloaded this app, and now it is charting #1 in social media apps. Not just social media apps, though. It's charting #1 in all apps. Now I can imagine that their panties are currently in a bunch. And say if you were the kind of person that wanted to make that worse for them, I invite you to join me in trolling the crap out of our government. Now, what are the community guidelines over there? I have no idea, but I'm about to find out. And I may very well be the reason that some community guidelines get started. Let's find out together, shall we? This one's for you, Blinken.
So I downloaded the little red book and I made a new bestie. We were just talking about the differences and similarities between China and the US, and she ended up going to the market and sent me a picture of her local market. I picked what was familiar to me and what I knew, and that was corn on the cob. I seen that 1 kilogram, which I found out was 2.2 pounds, was 6.90 yen. So I went on Google because it's free, right? And I looked up to see what would that be in US dollars. 94 cents. 94 cents. What would it be here in America, you might ask? When you do the math, $7. Is this what they don't want us to know?
Hello fellows, in my last video comments, some of you share your medical bill and that the cost of ambulance shocked me, man. Look at this, $9,000 for an ambulance and the insulin. That's like 3 months of income for an average American. And this, $900 just for an appointment and painkillers. In China, it only costs about $10. And this, in China, we never worry about the ambulance charges. Today, I will show you how much the ambulance costs in Shanghai, which is the most expensive city in China. Let's look at this table I made by using the official data. You guys can take a screenshot for later review. This is why some Chinese followers commented yesterday, it only costs around $50 in China for ambulance services, you know. Those politicians should have taken care of your people first At the end, salute to Luigi and wish the best to you all. Please follow me for more sharings from the other end of the world. Bye-bye.
I'm moving to China. What the fuck? Somebody can pay $69 a month for water, electricity, internet, and their apartment? And it's a 2-bedroom with a living room, kitchen, 2 balconies, and a middle-sized washroom, and the internet is 1 gig? That's like 1 month of rent. Sorry, 1 day of rent. In a 1-bedroom here in California.
Dia,
I could work 1 day and cover all of my expenses. I could work 1 12-hour day at $5 and cover rent for the fucking month and utilities. You gotta be kidding me. Why are we not revolting in America right now?
So I downloaded RedNote, and I'm no longer convinced that we are living in a first world country. Seeing the everyday lives of Chinese people, like obviously certain Chinese people, I'm not saying everybody's lives, but it's just like insanely eye-opening. There's something really remarkable that I have noticed about most of these Chinese people, even older people, like people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, they look so much less traumatized than most Americans. Our citizens here are not only like really cold and mean and disconnected and combative, but like you can just see people's problems on their face. You can see that they are exhausted and that they've been brutalized. Now, I don't fully understand Chinese culture at all, and I'm sure it varies a lot. It's a very, very big place. But it's interesting seeing how lighthearted and kind and gentle these people are, especially in comparison to Americans. We just have so much dark energy plaguing this country and plaguing the people, and it's just like, I don't know if we'll ever genuinely know what is happening. Like, what's happening with our government versus other governments. Is everyone lying to their people? Like, we live in so many layers of deception. Like, I don't know if we'll ever actually know what is happening.
The government has been lying to us about China for decades. Now that we've all gotten on RedNote and we can see the lifestyle that all of the Chinese people have, a lot of us Americans are fucking pissed. The price of going out to eat, the price of groceries, public transportation. And the people on RedNote are so fucking flabbergasted that we have to work 2 jobs just to keep our roof over our head. US government, you fucked up big time, which is not a surprise because you do it constantly. Even if TikTok gets banned, I've seen enough. I have been woken up. I grew up fed propaganda that China is evil and that they treat their citizens like shit. I mean, I was raised by MAGA. It's the main reason why I feel so radicalized. American culture, American society is toxic, gross, poisonous. They poison our food. They jack the prices up of everything. We don't get health care. We don't get good public transportation, even though we're all on the same fucking continent. We destroy the planet for money, power, and control. Our government is funky as fuck on the left and on the right. Don't get it twisted. This is a class war, and I will not be.
Because the American TikTok refugees asked the Chinese, what stereotypes do you have about us? And I'm thinking they're going to say, like, we're fat and we like junk food. No. They said that we think that we are free, but we are not. That we live under an oligarchy.
Cara, eu falo isso desde que eu mudei para os Estados Unidos. Você não se sente livre aqui. Não é.
That we essentially live in a corporation. And we're fat.
So I don't even care what I look like because I want to make my first video on here. I never really made many videos on TikTok. But I am a TikTok refugee from Wisconsin. Ni hao. But I'm crying right now. I don't know if you can see that I am I am crying right now because I have realized in just the little bit of scrolling that I've been doing is that I'm pretty sure the United States has lied to us about who China is. They've always told us very mean things about you guys and about your country. And just my experience on here so far, I have seen and heard such grace and such welcome.
Well, I've got to tell you something. We have been fed so much bullshit. You really need to go and sign up for Red Note. Just go and peruse the site. It's mind-blowing. The kindness, the generosity that the Chinese people are showing to the Americans who come on there, the way they're welcoming them. Yes, they're asking them to follow the guidelines of their app, which is standard practice. But when you start looking at what you see on Red Note versus what the governments have been handing us for propaganda and bullshit, my God, man. I spent a couple hours just going through the site, and really, it's worth the time for you to just sign up, go onto the site, and you don't even have to set up a full account to go and look. But like the amount of money that they have to spend on groceries, for example, is peanuts compared to what we pay here in Canada, and I'm sure the same in the US. It's like night and day. Their world there is so much better than the way they portray it. They're not a repressed people. They're intelligent. They're not what they try and tell us, that they are evil. China, 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 as Trump would say. Go have a look. Seriously, you're going to get a rude awakening about the truth and the propaganda that we've been hand-fed for years, that China's our enemy. They're not our enemy. Our enemy are the people who sit in those fancy chairs in Congress and Senate. Politicians. The rich. The Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. The people who hand us BS. I have to say that I got an education in the last 24 hours, just going through that site, watching various videos. Now, it's not TikTok. It's more of it's slightly different than TikTok, but it's good. And it's unbelievable to see how many people will welcome you. Go have a look. Take care, my friends. God bless. And let's put an end to the government's nonsense, both Canada, US, and around the world. China is not an evil place. China is not a place where they repress their citizens. I mean, yeah, there's things they can't do and things they can't say. But they live a healthy and prosperous life there. It's different. Go see for yourself. Give me your feedback when you're done. I'm curious to know what you think. Take care, my friends. All the best.
我要恭喜美国政府引起 TikTok 导演。我是要红书上和网友找到了共同的发生我有很多中国朋友找了很多次。这些工会没有你们，这一切都不可能实现。我爱中华人民共和国。
Os Estados Unidos decidiu banir o TikTok e o americano virou comunista. Foi isso que aconteceu. As coisas mudaram mesmo, gente, porque o americano reconhecer que existe algum lugar que pode ter alguma coisa melhor do que deles é difícil, viu? Não vou dizer que o regime da China é perfeito, porque eu acho que tem muito ali, o governo deles trabalha com né, a própria vigilância, eu acho que o governo trabalha um padrão comportamental ali para a população. Mas aqui também existe, nos Estados Unidos também existe propaganda. Eu acredito que no Partido Comunista Chinês, claro, tem propaganda. E eu acho que tem um certo controle do pensamento da população, sim. Mas aqui nos Estados Unidos também tem, só que esse controle ele vem das corporações. É aquilo que alguém falou num vídeo, que parece que a gente vive numa corporação, a gente vive numa empresa, e é isso mesmo. Porque, gente, a propaganda de coisas para você comprar, aqui é um negócio muito intenso, muito intenso. Então, enquanto na China tá lá, governo, não sei o que, vamos fazer a China melhor, aqui compre isso, compre aquilo outro. Você só vai vencer se você tiver uma bolsa Hermès. No Partido Comunista Chinês deve ter corrupção como qualquer lugar, mas eles têm um pensamento de longo prazo. E é um país com 1,5 bilhão de pessoas, então eles acharam um sistema ali que alguma coisa certa eles estão fazendo. Então é muito interessante ter esse olhar para a China de um lugar assim verdadeiro, né? É como se fosse assim, abrir um portal para a China. Essas pessoas olharam e viram o quanto elas estavam enganadas. É muito interessante isso tudo, ver o americano assim, ó, se desiludindo, né? Não tô desejando mal para americano não, mas é curioso, porque a gente no Brasil, a gente cresce também um pouco com essa ilusão de que os Estados Unidos é o melhor, é o maior. É isso, Cássia Kiss, faça alguma coisa porque o comunismo está aí. Eu fico por aqui, meu nome é Carol Zoccoli. Se você quiser aprender a fazer stand-up, tem um curso online na Hotmart, o link tá aqui na descrição.